Today we'll be talking about the crime that happened at 49 Clark Street in Malden, Massachusetts on November 15th, 1991. Shortly before 4 p.m., Michael Khalil, a regular purchaser of crack cocaine, arrived at the Clark Street apartment to drive his friend to his first day at a new job. Khalil started up the steps to the third floor apartment. When Khalil had passed the first landing, a masked man placed a weapon at Khalil's head and forced him up the stairs. As Khalil approached the second floor landing, he encountered a 6-foot tall black man wearing a 3/4 length green army fatigue style jacket, black ninja style hood with a little face opening, carrying a submachine gun style pistol. This man was alleged to be Whitaker. He held the gun to Khalil's head and told Khalil, "Be cool or he'll kill him," and forced him to continue up the stairs. On the third floor landing, he saw 4 more men. Each was armed and wore some sort of mask. One even had a clown mask. As Whitaker led Khalil up the stairway, Kenneth put the gun to Khalil's head. The remaining men stood behind Khalil. Kenneth told Khalil, "Knock on the door and be quiet and be cool or you're dead." Inside the apartment, there were 4 people. Woodley and David Morley were in Morley's bedroom closest to the front door. Another roommate, Hunter, was in the middle bedroom with his half-brother Thompson. Morley, on hearing Khalil's knock on the door, asked who it was. Khalil responded, "It's Mike." Morley opened the door. Soon as he did, they rushed in the apartment, shoving Khalil out the way. Morley tried to run. Someone yelled, "Freeze! Police!" and shots were fired. Morley was shot and later died from loss of blood resulting from multiple gunshot wounds. Woodley crawled under a bed. Thompson jumped into a closet, and Hunter crawled between his mattresses. Thompson and Hunter said they saw none of the intruders, and Woodley said he only saw the hand of one of the men. He described seeing a black hand holding a Uzi protruding from the sleeve of a green army fatigue jacket. The Commonwealth asserted at trial that this was the hand of Whitaker. Khalil saw the man in the green army jacket and the man in the clown mask leave Morley's bedroom immediately after Morley was shot. Before this incident occurred, Herbert Smith had been trying to replace a radiator in a friend's automobile parked on Clark Street. As he was packing up his tools, he heard what sounded like gunshots coming from up the street. Smith next saw 4 black men walking toward him from the direction from which he heard the gunshots. 2 men entered a light brown 4-door Nissan Stanza. 2 other men entered a Camaro hatchback automobile. Smith gave an officer a description of the vehicles. He said the Camaro had a New York license plate with F52 or F55 on it. At trial, Smith identified pictures of the Camaro and its New York license plate with F5 as the first 2 symbols. The information about the shooting, including the description of the suspect's vehicles, was discussed at an evening roll call to Boston police officers at approximately 5:30 p.m. At approximately 6:50 p.m. that evening, officers Raymond Ramirez and Santos Hernandez, while in an unmarked police cruiser, saw a brown Camaro fitting the description of the automobile seen at the earlier home invasion. The vehicle's New York license plate number was F5B362. The officers followed the automobile for approximately 1 mile before stopping the Camaro and calling for backup. The officers approached the automobile with flashlights and observed a green army fatigue jacket behind the driver's seat and a black jacket behind the passenger seat. These jackets matched the description of the clothing worn by the assailants given earlier to the police. Ramirez instructed Whitaker to turn off the engine and took Whitaker's keys. When asked for identification, Whitaker gave up a New York learner's permit, and Kenneth, he gave him an ID in the name of Lawrence White. The officers ordered the defendants out of the vehicle, pat frisked them, and searched the automobile. They retrieved the 2 jackets. One was a black ninja-style mask, and an address book was with it, both located in the pocket of the green army jacket, and various other items. In a closed compartment over the rear quarter panel on the left side, Officer Hernandez located a gray gym bag containing 2 guns. One was a Cobra semi-automatic pistol, and the other was a fully loaded Glock semi-automatic 9mm handgun. It was later determined that 8 9mm casings and 5 projectiles recovered at the scene of the intrusion were fired from the Cobra. The Glock was not fired at the scene. Whitaker and Kenneth were booked at 8:15 p.m. Kenneth exercised his right to make a telephone call. The officer, he dialed the number for Kenneth, noting the number on Kenneth's booking sheet. The telephone number called was listed to the residence of Philip Morris. Whitaker waived his Miranda rights and gave the following account of his whereabouts earlier in the day. He said he, his brother, and his girlfriend drove to Boston from New York. At some time between 3 and 3:30 p.m., they went to Boston City Hall to obtain a copy of a birth certificate of the child of Whitaker and his girlfriend. Whitaker and Kenneth intended to remain in the automobile while Whitaker's girlfriend obtained a birth certificate, but they later left the area while Whitaker's girlfriend was still inside. Whitaker testified that he and Kenneth then went to Philip Morris Jr.'s home. Morris was home with a guy by the name of Stanley O'Blines. Whitaker lent his automobile to them, telling them to return within 1/2 hour. He and Kenneth then fell asleep, and when Whitaker awoke between 3:30 and 4 p.m., Kenneth was watching cartoons, so the two went out to eat some pizza at approximately 5 p.m. They ate the pizza and drank sodas. O'Blines was present at Morris's house when Whitaker and Kenneth returned. Whitaker stated that he and Kenneth then left Morris's house after arguing about the delay in the return of the automobile, and they were on their way to pick up Whitaker's girlfriend and return to New York when they were pulled over by the police. Kenneth's statement to the police, given approximately 1 hour after the police had questioned Whitaker, differed significantly from that given by Whitaker. Kenneth stated, after receiving and waiving Miranda rights, that the two arrived from New York the previous day, that he was staying at an apartment in Boston, that he didn't know whose apartment it was, and that he didn't even talk to none of the occupants in the apartment, nor did they talk to him. He stated the night before he was up late and slept until late in the afternoon and watched cartoons when he awoke. His brother then returned to the apartment, and they were on their way to New York when they were stopped by the police. On November 16th, 1991, the day following Whitaker's arrest, Officer Daniel P. Linsky was in the lockup area talking to someone he had arrested on a matter unrelated to the home invasion. Whitaker interrupted the officer and asked what the penalty for possession of a machine gun in Massachusetts was. He then asked if the white guy really died. After clarifying that he meant the guy in Malden and being told that the victim did in fact die, Whitaker said, yeah, but he was killed by a shotgun, not a machine gun. The officers had not told Whitaker how Morley died, nor that he was white. The prior evening, Whitaker had asked police, if you got more time for killing a white man,